Welcome into the Paul Kuharsky podcast, live from Nissan Stadium, sponsored by Edley's, here to discuss the Titans' 10th loss of the season, 30-24 to the Seattle Seahawks. Very good Seahawks team, not a very good Titans team. Actually, not a terrible loss by any means, considering that the Titans had no answer for Jackson Smith-Njigba, who went crazy. 2 touchdowns and 167 yards, considering that the Titans could not run the football, 2.9 yards a carry, and that's factoring in Cam Ward's 37 yards. They got 27 yards from running backs, considering that they don't have their top receiver, Calvin Ridley. All things considered, if you're looking for a positive loss from this team this year, I'd say this one kind of qualifies. I see some of you already in the comments, Jolly MZ saying today gave you hope. I mean, I think that's a little bit, I wrote something similar. Look, we said, a lot of us said, I certainly said, I judge this season on Cam Ward's progress. Now, I expected there to be some wins involved in Cam Ward's progress, but I said I would characterize and define this season based on Cam Ward's progress. So the last 3 games, there's been some significant progress. The Titans have lost by 1 score. Average margin of defeat has been 5.3 points. I think before that, the average margin of defeat was 14.5. 2 touchdowns and a hook. So things have gotten far better in terms of the Titans competing. Those games have not been against patsies by any means. And so things are better. Cam Ward, only for the second time all season today, did not turn the ball over. No interception, no fumble, and no fumble lost. So that's a positive development. And again, he was his own best running back. Pollard, Spears, Chestnut. And I don't know that this should have been using Chestnut. I mean, the return to play policy under McCoy is so, and maybe it comes from above him, but it's so tender. I mean, I didn't look at the snaps that Teron Davenport puts up usually. I don't think Mullings saw a snap on offense. But, I mean, he's a short yardage back, and you've got all these short yardage situations. Doesn't he get 1 turn? Doesn't he get 1 turn as a short yardage back? Seems to me. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he is. Give him a chance. I'm going to say some things about Restrepo before I get to your Restrepo questions. I mean, my God, the things that make you people happy. I understand it's a bad team. He had 2 catches for 26 yards. A little juice, sure. I mean, have you ever in your life been this happy about a guy who caught 2 of 6 passes thrown to him? Yeah, is pass interference on the one and probably should have been an unnecessary hit to the head. But, I mean, the catch rate is 1 for 3, 33% catch rate. How in the world are you this happy? And you're telling me, oh, the chemistry with Cam. If Cam has great chemistry with somebody, they would hit at a bigger, I mean, he has great chemistry with him, but the chemistry was not on display. I mean, any receiver on the team catches that throwback where you're wide open in the middle of the field and Cam buys you that much time, right? I don't think there's a drop problem with that throw. He's made that throw to other people. He made that throw to Io Manor. I think he's made that throw to Helm, maybe. He's made that throw a couple of times. I mean, that's not a Titans receiver problem that they can't catch Ward extending the play for a mile and throwing it back to the middle of the field. The other play, nice play where he got down by the goal line and didn't score. If he had scored, my God, we'd have Jerry Rice on our hands. But, I mean, 2 catches for 26 yards. And on the other side, we got Smith and Jigba with 8 catches for 167 yards. And based on the way you guys are talking, they're equals. I swear to God, that's what's in my Twitter feed. TD pass, catchable. He called it a drop. I think it's tough contender. Okay, saying this better than Kinsey, it's different than what's on my Twitter feed, which makes him sound like he's the second coming and he's the best receiver that we've seen since A.J. Brown. It's not hard to be better than Mason Kinsey. Okay? He ranks as better than Mason Kinsey. So right now, with Io Manor out, you'd have DK and you'd have Jefferson and you'd have Prochet and you could put Restrepo 4th. And as soon as Io Manor's back, then he's 5th. And guess what the 5th receiver does on this team? Barely plays. So, I mean, calm down. For crying out loud, you seem like a bunch of little kids. It's I'm embarrassed for you. I really am. Free Restrepo. Free him. They're holding him back. He's tremendous. I mean, and if he had scored that touchdown, I mean, my God, he would have scored a touchdown. Am I going to see the Springsteen flick? I've seen the Springsteen flick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Springsteen flick is now out of theaters. It did not do great. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I'm an insider. I'm the audience. I don't know. You guys are saying, is PK all right? I send a text to members when I'm finished, but I write first. I generally show up 6:30, 6:45. So I don't know why you were expecting me at an exceptionally early hour. Big Red says he feels like it's time to finally keep Pollard on the bench. He's done nothing and rather see if Spears can handle more workload. Spears cannot do anything up the middle either. I mean, Spears had 3 carries for 4 yards. I don't know why you think Spears is going to do better. I think they both stink. I want Spears to be thrown to. I think Spears, he had 4 catches for 21 yards. That's 5.3. A touch out of the backfield as a receiver. I think he's an okay receiver. I think he's an okay edge rusher. I don't want anything of Spears running up the gut. But Pollard's washed, I think. Now, Pollard had a game, maybe it was the Chargers game, 10 carries for maybe 60-something yards. That was a pretty good game. It wasn't that long ago. It's the first game after the bye. I thought he looked pretty good in that game. But before that and since then, really not good. They need a running back. They need to revamp the running game. Mullings should get the short yardage carries going forward. I don't know what's going on. I don't think that I actually did this, Bustin' Diamond, that I forced McCoy to go for it on 4th. But he speaks for everybody when he says thank you. He did say he thought of me after he went for it, and they went for it 5 out of 7 times. He wanted to re-emphasize that it was a game flow thing. That's bullshit. You don't go from not doing it to doing it 7 times because the game flow is different. There was no difference to the flow of the game. This was a predetermined decision. Anybody disagree? Predetermined decision that they were going to be aggressive today in a way that they haven't been since Mike McCoy took over. There's no game flow there. If I had anything to do with it, I'm thrilled. Sam enjoyed watching Titans football for the first time in years. Well, I think you enjoyed the 4th quarter of that Arizona game. 2 mismatched players on JSN and Katie barred the doors. I mean, look, on the 63-yard one, Winston messes up the coverage. He's supposed to come over and be the help. Amani Hooker covered the play well. You can't cover him with one guy. Now, some people on my feed are like, oh my God, offensive pass interference. He had his arm out the whole way. He had a slight arm out, on and off, in the way that I understand you guys aren't familiar with if you're watching Titans football all the time, because the Titans don't have anybody that would know to do that. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is not getting called for pass interference on that. And you know why? Because it's not a penalty. In the National Football League, a big-time receiver extending his arm and releasing it like that, which is what he did. Bang, bang. If you're listening to this, I'm extending my arm. I'm bringing my arm back. That's what he did. He did not hold it out for any kind of long period of time or jostle with him. He extended it and he brought it back pretty quickly. It was not offensive pass interference. It's a great play by a great receiver. You have to have two people there. Winston, we were looking at the dots with Teron Davenport, who's got access to it. Winston's got to get over there. There was nothing to hold Winston where he stayed. On the other big play, Winston got beat. It's just not enough. Somebody here says Cam looked really good. Best he's looked under pressure as well. Cam got himself out of it. It's amazing that he was still sacked 4 times. It didn't feel like he was sacked 4 times. And it felt more like, to me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there were 1 or 2 clean ones, but it felt a little bit. I saw Vanderbilt yesterday. I went to the Vanderbilt game. And my son, complained once or twice, like, oh man, why is he taking that sack? I said, man, you're trading off. When he holds onto the ball as long as he does and dips around and curls back, you're going to take some of those sacks as a trade-off. And Cam Ward today, I thought, took a couple as a trade-off because he kept a lot of plays alive by darting around to find time and space to look downfield, make a throw, or to run. He ran 6 times. He ran great. Now, last week he said that the running came out of what Houston did. The way they rush opened up room for a quarterback to run. That wasn't the case today. I mean, you can't say 2 weeks in a row the defense set you up to run. He's looking to run more, and he's running well, and he's running better. Did Tom Brady say the N-word on the air? If Tom Brady said the N-word on the air, he's in big trouble. Big trouble. Will Gordon attended his first Titans home game today, and he saw Sweat on the sideline a lot today. Sweat, not always the most fit guy, but also they got to take people off the field to get defensive backs on the field, and they needed defensive backs on the field. I wouldn't choose to take Sweat off, and again, I didn't see the snap count. If our defense, commenter says, wasn't made up of guys that should be bagging groceries, we would have won today. Well, look, Amani Hooker's not had a good season, but I wouldn't say he should be bagging groceries. Might get the second win of the season against the Jags next week. Did they blow that game against Arizona? I wouldn't be surprised if Mullings didn't play on offense and only played on special teams. But again, I haven't seen the snap count. Restrepo got some really great grabs, but I don't know where he really fits. On the outside, no way. In the slot, I want DK getting every pass. I mean, DK has to be out of the slot for Restrepo to play. Got some really great grabs. He made 2 catches, first off. The one, he's wide open in the middle of the field. Is that a great grab? Or are we just desperate for Restrepo to be good? I mean, he did what he should have done. I give him credit because not everybody on the Titans did what they should do. But I don't know why we're desperate to declare what Restrepo did today. 2 catches for 26 yards. Why are we desperate to declare that great? James Prochet had 3 catches for 42 yards. That's a 14-yard average, whereas Restrepo had a 13-yard average. And Prochet made a big catch across the middle. His long catch, by the way, Prochet, his long catch was 23. Nobody's raving about Prochet. Quality girl. I'm not saying he's McNair, but the way Ward carries himself and the way he's improving at doing whatever it takes to keep the play alive reminds me of McNair in flashes. Over the last 2 weeks. Now, he's not McNair because he can't run like McNair. One of McNair's signature plays early when it started to take off was a 75-yard touchdown run against Tampa. I don't know that we're going to see that from Cam. Cam's probably getting caught. He doesn't have the speed, and he's not a runner. But if he can just do what he did today and keep those plays alive where he wants to stay behind the line of scrimmage to throw, nothing wrong with that. And the runs that he had, it's not a apples to apples comparison, but a making plays comparison. It could be fair if he pans out. And look, the last 3 games, his passer rating is like around 86. Take an 86 passer rating. Not turning the ball over, hasn't thrown an interception. Fumbles still got to come down, but it's encouraging. It is encouraging. Going for it on 4th, how about that? It had to kill him. Had to kill him. It's so counter to his nature. Do we believe? I do. That he got talked to by bosses? I do. I absolutely believe it. Dallas just beat the Eagles. It's bad for the Eagles. Mike says, PK, we haven't had anything to cheer for since Green Bay Thursday night football game. Well, they did beat Arizona. That's a win. I understand how it was packaged and all of that. Still, I mean, DK scored 2 touchdowns today, but Restrepo had 2 catches. Hey, never mind the 2 touchdowns. Restrepo had 2 catches. So let's not talk about DK's 2 touchdowns and DK being a hell of a fine, bound for all pro. The thing that we need to concentrate on today is not Chim DK and a 90-yard punt return and a touchdown catch. The thing we need to focus on is Xavier Restrepo had 2 catches. Let's be clear on priorities and the guys who deserve attention, respect, and applause. Why would you put Chim DK ahead of Xavier Restrepo today? It would be unreasonable to do that. All about X. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. It's absolutely the right thing. I've got to revise my thinking where I somehow think Xavier Restrepo, his performance was not on par with Chim DK today. But that's something wrong in my head. I've got to Jay Buckles points out one was 1 yard short of a TD. So that equates it, I guess, with Chim DK's play. That was a TD. So I got to rethink that. I'll do better. I'll get there. I'm going to get there. I'm telling you. It'll be okay. It's not about being an eternal pessimist. It's about being a realist. Like maybe he turns into something, but like just the 2 catch guys, 2 catches. This is not a me problem. This is a you problem. He was better than Kinsey. And that's all you guys came to the stadium today. You said, if we could see a guy who's better than Kinsey, this will be a fucking holiday. It's better than Thanksgiving and Christmas combined. Better than Kinsey. That's all we want. Congratulations. You've set the bar. You have done what the Titans want. You've set the bar so fucking low that what you aspire to is to have a better 53rd guy on the team. Congratulations. Kurt says there's not much to get happy about. Again, DK is apparently invisible. Logan wants Restrepo to catch a touchdown pass. I can deal with Logan. DK is maybe the best player on the team, somebody else says, but we can't talk about him. Was he better than I expected? Slightly better. I thought he would probably have 2 catches for 18 yards. So he was 8 yards better than I expected. Many other receivers would not known to have run back. Well, Alec Iomanner knew it. He did it for the first touchdown career of Cam's first touchdown of Cam's career. Rather be a realist, Dalton Huff says. Or no, sorry, Bob says. Rather be a realist. I want to see it happen, and Strep definitely had a decent game. I'm on PK's side. Need to see it first. All right, let's talk about some other things, because if we're going to spend the whole show on Restrepo, it's going to be a short show because I'm just not interested in doing it. Not interested. I wasn't wrong about Restrepo. I said he'd have 2 catches for 18 yards, and he had 2 catches for 26 yards. What we're disagreeing on is how important that is. A lot of you guys seem to think that's a huge deal. And I correctly think it is what it is. 2 catches for 26 yards. Now, you guys think that's going to explode into something big. I think he's going to continue to be the 4th or 5th wide receiver. I think he might get 5 targets in a game once. You see some massive chemistry with Cam. I see that they missed 4 times on 6 attempts. Hecker has been a disappointment. Absolutely. It's very inconsistent from Hecker. And apparently he's got no level of accountability. There's no chance. 3 punts for 135 yards, a 31.7 yard net. That's awful. That's awful. I'll definitely be asking about that this week. Has Tony lost a step? I think Tony's lost 2 steps. Tony has no explosiveness whatsoever. What was Tony Pollard's long run today? 5 yards. Really busted it out. Gunnar Helm continues to make catches. Some good signs from the rookies. Gunnar Helm continues to make catches, and he continues to not. Today he got 7 targets, 6 catches. Now that's a ratio I like. See how he's 6 for 7? 6-7! 6 for 7 for 51 yards. I apologize that I like 6 for 7 more than I like 2 for 6, and that I think it's more worthy of being talked about. So is there a chance of DK playing outside in the future? He's not exclusively a slot receiver, but I think they like him there best, and that's where he has had the most work. So, in the long term, what do they see him doing? I don't know. Here, Jimmy wants to talk about the youth. Titans have Ward, Winston, DK, Helm in the first 4 rounds. Iomanner and Harris promising 2. Solid class. I don't know if Harris is that promising. I've not been particularly impressed by Harris. I don't know if Harris is going to be a guy. Now he's got 6 games, right? But I don't know that Harris is going to stop you from getting anybody additional in the secondary for next year. Is he going to count higher than a 4th or 5th cornerback for next year? I doubt it. Femi Oladejo, we're leaving out of there. We don't know anything about him. I think we could see him in 2 weeks. Ward, Winston, DK, Helm, Iomanner. That's not bad. If Iomanner, here's the question, will I represent Restrepo to the Hall of Fame committee? I think his career will go so long that I will probably be retired and lose that. My successor on the Hall of Fame committee from Nashville will probably get to present him to the committee. KT says the entire draft class has been respectable. Hopefully Kalel Mullings does the same as his position and runs the ball like a linebacker. We could use it. Anxious to see him. Would have liked to have seen him today. If the 49ers cut Brandon Ayuk, should the Titans be interested? He's only 27. It's a problem. The reason a guy like that gets cut is because he's an even bigger problem than we see that he is. I don't think they're cutting him during the remainder of the season. They could cut him after the year to clean up money and move on. But I don't think the Titans are taking on problems. I don't think they're signing. Ayuk will be cheaper because it'd be damaged goods. George Pickens is a problem. I don't think the Titans are going anywhere near George Pickens. So we'll see. I think DK will get the all-pro nod. I haven't looked at the rest of the returners. Is there anybody that's there by reputation? How is the Dallas guy doing? I agree that the Titans need a workhorse running back. I don't think it could come in round 2 or 3. I just don't think it's a big enough priority. Again, I'm banging the drum, and I may be wrong. Look, they surprised me when they took a safety in round 3, right? But to me, first 3 positions in some order: receiver, edge, corner. Receiver, edge, corner. And more, I'm thinking receiver first. Because look at what Jackson Smith and Jigba is doing. Now, he didn't do it in the first year. He's on pace. Now, it's a 17-game season, understandably. But 2,029 yards in 17 games versus 1964, which is Calvin Johnson's record, I believe, from 2012. You just got to give Cam Ward and this offense somebody like that. Somebody who's going to be a big-time receiver, who's going to make plays, threaten defenses, scare people, draw coverage, dictate things. I just think it's a big deal. Now, you need to be able to run. My thinking at this stage, pay Breece Hall what Breece Hall costs and get yourself 2 years of that, and then you can, forestall drafting a running back. But yeah, this team, franchise's whole lifeblood is highly drafted running backs, first or second round running backs who are big time studs. I just don't. You got to address these positions that you haven't done anything at for a long time. First and foremost, let's retweet. If you're listening, if you're watching or listening on Twitter or on YouTube, I appreciate you. Later, if you're listening on Apple, on iHeart, or on Spotify, I appreciate you. You know what to do on your specific platform in terms of liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing. Please do all of those things you can do to help the cause of the Paul Kuharsky podcast. I appreciate it. I'm sponsored by Edley's Barbecue, which has 8 locations in and around Middle Tennessee. It is my favorite place to eat. Quick, great food, big portions, delicious, cold beer, cold cocktails, affordable, all of that stuff, quick service. Thing is, if you eat there, take a business person to lunch, take a client, have a client take you. It's a good spot. Take your family for dinner. If you can't do that, download their app. It's unbelievable. Their app just crushes all of these food apps. They'll deliver it fast. They'll deliver it cheap. And you'll experience Edley's at home as if you are in the restaurant. Edley's Barbecue, you can't go wrong. Check it out, or most of you are very familiar. You're due for fried ribs or burnt ends or platter of any and every variety. Check it out, Edley's Barbecue, the best. I called Cleveland over the Raiders today. I don't know how my other two came out. I can't remember the spread. Great progress today, says Aunt Deasy. I just don't want us screwing around and killing the future by winning meaningless games. I mean, I could argue this all day long. You think it's meaningless you think it would have been meaningless for Cam Ward to win that game? If they had a little bit more time and he got the ball back and he led a game-winning drive or game-tying drive, do you think that's meaningless to Cam Ward? I think it's very meaningful to Cam Ward. So how do you weigh meaningless versus meaningful? The people who think winning a meaningless game is meaningless and that a draft pick trumps all. I understand the value of that draft pick. Also, we don't know who's winning and losing other games over 7 more weeks of the season. But I'm telling you, there is value in Cam Ward winning. There's value in Kevin Winston winning. There's value in Chim DK and these other guys, not just from this year, but from last year and the year before that. There's value in them winning. Don't convince yourself that these games are meaningless to the franchise in that way. Don't be so casual about wanting the top pick at all expense. It's not worth it at all expense. Start rooting too for these other teams to win, because it's just not. Losing isn't as valuable as you think. I'm convinced of that. Let's get some of your questions. McNair became a better pocket passer, but young McNair was not as poised or good in the pass as Cam is as a rookie. Well, yeah, I certainly think that's the case. Particularly, early McNair. McNair didn't have a as clean a start. He certainly didn't start as a rookie. So, rank the AFC South quarterbacks. Well, look, Daniel Jones in his system is the best quarterback in the division right now. I didn't see how the Colts blew that game. I know they had a lead. It seems like they should have beaten the Chiefs. It's typical Chiefs, typical Colts, kind of. But I think Daniel Jones has to rate as the best right now. C.J. Stroud started to play better. I don't love him. I don't love Trevor Lawrence. But, I mean, Cam is fourth right now, unless you're asking me for long-term stuff, and I need to spend some time. I don't have access to Mike Borgonzi to whisper Carnell Tate in his ear. And it's very early for him to have to be influenceable. Not that I have any influence anyway. But maybe I influenced the fourth downs. Imagine if I was Jared Stillman, I'd be positive that I influenced the fourth downs. They went for these fourth downs because of me. They did not go for fourth downs because of me. Alsop, Adam. Did you change your handle? Weren't you always Adam Alsop? This year's draft is really good at the top. We'll be top 10 regardless. Take the wins if we can get them. I mean, look, it'd be great to be able to trade down. But Dennis says, I saw a step forward from Cam today. I need a wide receiver one. I mean, I think the best thing about Cam was the evasiveness. There was a play in that first series where he moved around a little bit and then somebody had him around the knees and he threw to Chig for a 10-yard gain. It's a great play. It's first down on a 2nd and 7. It's a great play. And he had more plays like that. Escape, buy time, get something done. Escape, buy time, get something done. Yeah, here's some people agreeing with me in here. The CRA. There's value in Cam winning for sure, especially when you see Dart and Sanders win some games. Titans can still trade down from 102 or 103 too, but they're not getting 102 or 103 is the problem. And this I understand and I'm sympathetic to. Their strength of schedule is going to be higher than anybody. If they end up in a tie for second, if they're in a 3-way tie for second, they're drafting third out of those teams because the worst strength of schedule gets the first pick, which is what they benefited from last year and what they will suffer for this year. I saw Sweat walking off the field just looking absolutely, this is Richard Snyder saying, I don't think I heard Sweat's name once during the broadcast. Must be one of the laziest players I've seen in a long time. I saw him coming off the field looking absolutely exhausted. Latham taking some criticism here. Latham looking like a bust. I wanted Rome Odunze the whole time, looking like we made a mistake. I thought Latham wasn't too bad today. Name 324 is just trying to set me up and set me up and set me up. Kurt West said, who doesn't love Edleys? And who doesn't love Edleys? Yeah, juice. Come on. Henry Ruggs is set to be released from prison in August. Kid made a mistake, but Saban says no issues at Alabama. Could I see this front office taking a chance on this guy next year? I think would be low risk with possible high reward. I want nothing to do with anybody that wants anything to do with Henry Ruggs. Saban says no issues at Alabama. Of course there were no issues at Alabama. Saban's a saint. He didn't have anybody who had any issues. All of Saban's guys, great guys, great men. Kenneth Walker's getting old, isn't he? A question here about Kenneth Walker from the practice place. May not be re-signed with the Seahawks. He's a twitchy guy. Could be an option at running back. I think he could be heading a little old. Curtis West asks, draft a wide receiver in the first round. I don't think there's much separation in wide receiver in this draft. PK, what does your scout guy say? Haven't talked to him yet about it. Well, my scout being Blake Bedingfield. Braden Gall, who's been writing scouting, college, keep your eye on college stuff, has been kind of rotating through the wide receivers about who it seems like, is up there. And all of those names have flashed through. And Sammy has a good point here. He really loves Tate, he says, but he thinks he might get sick if we don't get Bain or Reese, we being the Titans. Bain or Reese could really give this defense a jolt, and the defense, as he says, needs a legit edge. That's the problem with having so many needs. That is the problem with having so many needs. Sanders got to win quickly like Dart did, says the CRA. Making Ward versus Sanders must see with Ward. Ward better get the win. Although when Latham sees Garrett looking, his hip will hurt. Jolly says, look at Agbuka year 1, 2. Now, Agbuka, I think, was drafted 19th. I mean, I love Agbuka. And that's instant impact. JSN took, really first year they didn't ask much of him. Second year started, come on. Third year now is killing it, right? I don't want a 3-year wait. I want immediate impact. Agbuka is immediate impact. A couple people like my Breece Hall idea. Yeah, this is a room, and this, I was discussing on the air with Robbie Stanley, and Mike Herndon tweeted this. If you had an Alec Pierce, Carnell Tate, DK, Isle Manor, Oliver room next year, I would take that in a second. I think that's a significant upgrade. Pierce has some speed. Tate seems like a well-rounded guy. DK and Isle Manor would slot in at appropriate places. Oliver is the back-end guy, kind of the next NWI, hopefully would be healthy. I know a lot of you would be jumping off a bridge. There's not a lot of room for Restrepo right there. Who gets cut in the offseason? Snead, Ridley, Cushenberry? Yes, I hope so. You'd saw off a leg for George Pickens. Well, this is like you're purely looking at his football, and you're not looking enough at the entire package. George Pickens is a weirdo. And George Pickens was shipped out by an organization that worries about locker room culture to an organization that doesn't care at all about locker room culture. And one of those organizations generally is in the playoffs. It doesn't go very far. And the other one, does make the playoffs, but it's known more for ridiculous drama than it is for serious football. So do you want to be a serious football team? If you want to be a serious football team, you want to be more like the Steelers. I understand the Steelers don't do enough postseason win, but everybody in the league takes the Steelers seriously. Certainly the way they operate. Everybody in the league takes the way the Steelers operate seriously. Not everybody in the league takes the way Dallas operates it seriously. Most of them think the way Dallas operates is a joke. You want to be in the joke basket or the serious basket? Pollard shouldn't get snaps. I mean, why? That's his role. They don't have anybody else they think they can fill his role, and they're going to stick with it. Names aren't showing in their usual way tonight, right? Seeing ats instead of just the names. I think it depends on where you're coming from. So maybe those are the Twitter names as opposed to the Facebook names, as opposed to the YouTube names. Let's go down and see the newest comments. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Good to see you on the night after a quote-unquote good Titans loss. I don't know. Seems like people are less unhappy than usual. Hood says, dude threw a screen pass for a touchdown, and the media is going crazy for him over Sam. I'm sorry, I don't know who you guys are talking about amongst yourselves. Sorry, shouldn't have taken that. CW said he does not think the Jets will allow Brees to reach free agency. They'll give him a long-term deal. If not, they would have traded him at the deadline and got something for him. You're talking like, everybody trades every guy that can't get something that they don't intend on signing. They can intend on signing him, but not wind up signing him. Sometimes you don't know for sure what you can do or what you can't do. And you're talking like the Jets are a fully functional organization, which they are not. Shedeur Sanders was completely helped by the Browns defense and his coach today, but that won't stop national media from ranking Sanders first out of the rookie quarterbacks this week. That's why you should just ignore it. Just ignore it. I haven't seen the highlights of the game yet. I'm sure Sanders, I know he made one big throw early, but we know Jim Schwartz is kick-ass coach there, and their defense is very good, and that Stefanski is very good. McCoy, Richard Snyder says, is a loser, and that's why he was happy in the press conference. I don't disagree with the sentiment of that. Why do I think McCoy was more lively in the presser today? I do think he felt better about how they played. And whether you feel similarly or not, the head coach probably shouldn't be that much peppier. Ivan corrects me and says JSN was good last year. His first was a slow start. I'll take that. I think some of McCoy being happier was that he had that success on fourth down, that he thinks he's in position to kind of snap back at the media, probably. I mean, I think Zeitler breakthrough is saying Cushenberry and Zeitler have got to go. I mean, I think Zeitler, they hoped maybe would be a guy that they would want to resign and keep going with. He's clearly a wall guy. I don't think he's got much to offer and hasn't been very good. So I'd be done with him. And Cushenberry hasn't panned out. I would wait and see what the next coach and coordinator and offensive line coach think of Cushenberry when they get in and look at film. You'd hate to be filling both of those spots, but it might be necessary, in which case, hopefully Jackson Slater is filling one of those spots and you're filling another one. Jeff Buss says, I have been on fire lately. He's happy to finally be a member of the site. And others of you who are in here who are not members of the site should follow suit. $7.50 a month is steal at that price. I mean, you throw away half cups of coffee that you spent $7.50 on. You don't finish the last cocktail that you spent $7.50 on. You don't hesitate to buy the fourth beer that you spend over $7.50 on. Come be a part of things. Great insight and analysis from me, from Blake Bedingfield, from Drew Beatty, from Mike Herndon, from Braden Gall. Most unique, most diverse, biggest staff there for any kind of pay site. You're missing out if you're not getting all of the insight that you're getting at paulkuharsky.com. Come on, jump on board. Support independent journalism. Who's holding Mike McCoy's feet to the fire? Who's giving him shit about all this fourth down crap? I am. Come on. Help brother out. Yeah, I'm not going to get deep into discussing second round wide receivers right now. Cam's scrambling look much improved, said Jolly MZ. Absolutely. He's much better the last 2 weeks. Where has that been? Why has that not been a thing? Like, how does it take him until week 10 and week 11 and week 12, counting the bye week, to get to that? How is that possible that it takes so long? Somebody wants me to rank Sanders, Dart, Ward. Long term, I would say Ward, Dart, Sanders. I've got no interest in Sanders. I don't think he's any good at all. I think it's way too early to declare Dart something special on a small sample size. I'm not changing my opinions on short sample size. Sammy wants me to whisper in the new coach's ear to hire Munchak. Here we go. Restrepo already better than Wilson, Farley, and Burks. He's not better than Farley or Burks. I thought Latham looked okay. I don't think they should be thinking about kicking him the guard. I think he's got to play well the remainder of the season. And I think they need him very much to be the right tackle, and you got to give him every chance to be the right tackle. You can't have wound up with guards at 11 and 7. Yeah, that's a good question. Based on the reaction to the fourth down, kidding still. Do I think that they'll hit Cam a little harder in practice with those pads this week? I mean, they absolutely should. That's mailing in garbage. And I think Peyton McCullum is a good young coach, but I think he's either doing what he's told or he's not being told to do anything, and he's young and he's not thinking anything more is necessary. Pod with Tehran was great. Tim, Titans fan, says. I appreciate that. Some of you requested it, and so I did it. Here's somebody else. Did anyone else think PK and TD didn't like each other, or just you? You thought we didn't like each other? TD and I get along great. I like TD a lot. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun to be around. We spend a ton of time around each other. We have similar feelings about a lot of people and a lot of stuff, which makes a lot of things much more bearable. Sam liked it also. Beers are $14 each at the stadium. I don't know what that means. Sammy, I'll leave that advertisement up there for a second. You need to... Adam says it sucks, but you need 3 to 4 more offensive linemen still, not all starters. Well, I think Blake Hance might have been an acceptable reserve interior guy. I think that's probably a 1-year deal, but I would get him back once he's healthy again. I think Jackson Slater is, hopefully good enough to rise to a starting job. And I think Oli Udo has been pretty good and is probably going to get a significant offer that the Titans should sure as hell try to match and keep him. It's very hard to have offensive line depth. So I think expecting substantial offensive line depth is probably too much. Our 3 wins this season completely out of reach if the team keeps playing like it did today. If the team plays like it did today, it's conceivable that it beats the Saints. It's conceivable it finds one against the Jags. It's conceivable that it could beat the Browns. I think winning 2 of those 4 games is completely possible, but I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting that they match what they did today very often. Jolly is signing up. Jolly's my favorite person in here right now. Who else wants to be my favorite? Moore and Cush are undergoing further evaluation, as is the other person who was injured today, who I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. Here goes. CW says, I really like Breece Hall. If the Titans brought him in, would be a good ad in free agency if the Jets let him go. The Jets don't have a choice of letting him go or not letting him go. This language is used a lot. I think some of you like to listen to Stillman, and you take that from Stillman. Stillman is a guy who consistently makes it like teams have some kind of veto power on letting a guy go or not go. Why did they let Derrick Henry go? They didn't let Derrick Henry go necessarily. Derrick Henry wanted to go. Derrick Henry reached free agency. Derrick Henry can do what he wants. They could attempt to keep him. But free agents have choice. They have freedom. It's the first part of free agency. It leads into freedom. The Jets don't have any say in whether Breece Hall stays or goes if he waits until the start of the league year. So the Jets can't prevent him from going if he wants to go. Name 324, just going and going and going. Would the Titans consider best player available if they ended up with pick 6 or 7? Best player available. If it's a receiver, yes. If it's a tight end, absolutely not. If it's a quarterback, no. If it's an outside linebacker, absolutely yes. If it's an interior defensive lineman, no. If it's an inside linebacker, no. If it's a cornerback, yes. If it's a safety, no. So no. But, I mean, the idea of best player available is total bullshit. Because, well, first off, I don't think you're going to have a tight end, maybe once in a while there's one rated as the best player available at 8. But you have to rate positional value in here as well. You can't take another quarterback because you took Cam Ward last year, and your obligation now is to build a team around him. I don't think you could spend another high first-round pick on an offensive lineman after you spent 7 and 11 and $20 million on Dan Moore, who you have a 2-year commitment to. And, I mean, when are you going to get to other positions on your roster with a first-round pick? Interior defensive lineman, after you spend a second-rounder on Sweat, and with a big contract coming for Jeffrey Simmons? No. Inside linebacker? Never. Never, ever, ever. Safety? You just spent a third-rounder on one, and you gave an extension to Amani Hooker. No. So, no. Best player available is kind of a myth. Teams that can do best player available are generally drafting in the 20s, like the Titans were when they drafted Keith Bullock and they didn't need a middle linebacker or an outside linebacker, in a 4-3. So, a couple more and we'll get out of here. How do we know who the best player available is? MB asks. None of us know the Titans board, and that's all that matters. He's saying, should the Titans take the best player available on their board? Not our board, their board. Isaiah Wilson was in the 20s. Yeah, but they also needed a right tackle. And again, I don't think they should have re-signed Jack Conklin. I didn't have a problem with them not exercising his 5th-year option, and I didn't have a problem with them not pursuing him after they didn't exercise his 5th-year option. I have a problem with their inability to replace him, which started with Isaiah Wilson. Here's Jolly MZ's pecking order. Wide receiver, edge, corner. It's probably the order I would put them in too, but you can't put them in an order until you know who they are and who's available when. If your third favorite wide receiver is available and a top edge is available, then you got to, go different. Wilson was not top 10. Wilson was in the 20s, 26 maybe. Richard Snyder says, I don't think they match up well against the Browns, and that's a Ward Sanders discussion the week before the game. Pay PK and avoid that shit show. It's a good point. I'm not going to have a lot of Ward, Shador, Sanders BS conversation leading up to the Browns game because it's a BA bullshit conversation. Franchise tag. This is, I'm sure, in reference to keeping Breece Hall. Yeah, there are some situations where people can keep their free agents. The Titans were never, ever going to franchise tag Derrick Henry. Wouldn't have been good business at that stage. Slater may have been at center later. Corey Levin replaced Cushenberry early. So I apologize. I don't know what exactly happened there later. Ed Henry's acting like he didn't see him there later. So, again, I didn't see the snap counts. Garrett's going to get 5 sacks himself, said Breaking Through Bits. All right. We are nearing an hour. The KID is hungry and would like to leave this stadium, which you love and hold dear. Stadium right behind that. I saw the last beam get put in, to which my son later said, are the Titans playing at their new stadium this weekend? Didn't really understand the topping out ceremony. He was not alone in that. So we'll see. Maybe I was wrong, says the person who saw Slater. I mean, he did play, but that could well be special teams. Did I sign the beam? I'm not invited to sign the beam. I'm not connected to the team. I'm not an employee of the team. Would I have loved to have had my signature on that beam? Abso-fucking-lutely. Is there any reason that they should have had me on there? No. I should have asked what the plant means. I mean, new life and growth and all of that, I imagine, symbolism, but I did not ask. They should have let me sign the beam. Look at how nice you guys are being to me. Should have let me sign the beam. If I had any influence over the 4th down plays, on that alone, I should have signed the beam. But I had no influence over the 4th down plays, and there was no reason for me to sign the beam. None. If they have, a brick signing for the press room, and could sign the underside of a brick that will walk into the press room, I would hope to be invited to sign that. Hint, they will have no such ceremony and no such brick. I appreciate you people coming in here, spending time with me. Retweet this so people could find it. Direct people to the YouTube. Tell your friends to listen to it on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeart. Tonight, tomorrow morning, better than what they're going to hear elsewhere. I will talk to you tomorrow on a football show with Braden Gall. And then I confess I'm going out of town. My family does not have big get-togethers. My entire family is going to be together for Thanksgiving. And I am not going to miss that to cover the Tennessee Titans, since it happens once in a blue moon, and my mother is 90. So I wish you all, let me be the first, as Chris Berman says, to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you soon. Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks. Good night, everybody. Thanks.